people, stay dandy, baby. The Force is strong with this episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, and that's because our main man gets a friggin' lightsaber. That's right, Chakra lightsabers. They're a part of the series now. Cue Duel of the Fates, shit bout to get real. That being said, this was a pretty fun episode of the series as Boruto and his team, as well as Professor Katasuke, make their way to the Ryutan Research Laboratory, where they're going to do some tests on some special brand new ninja technology, some of which is pretty goofy, some of which is pretty cool, and they even managed to introduce a brand new character to the show, and we even get to see the return of fan favorite character Sumire Kake. But that's not all. The Kara is officially on the move. Some of them are working in the shadows, and some of them are desperately trying to retrieve the mysterious vessel of the series. Oh, what could the vessel be? All manga fans know who it is, and if you simply just watch the intro, you'll have a pretty good idea of what that vessel is gonna be. That being said, I thought this was a pretty solid episode right here, which actually made me appreciate the character of Katasuke just a little bit more. Yes, he has a face that makes it look like you want to punch it all the time, but he's actually a pretty nice guy and has made a pretty nice impact on the world, not only developing some pretty cool weapons, but Boruto gets to learn the importance of this ninja technology just a little bit more in this episode. You started to see that a little bit more in the previous one where he met Ao on the train, but here he gets to see its application done in a number of different ways. Not only being utilized for combat, but actually changing the lives of people who've been injured. Again, very similar to Ao, except in this one he gets to see that this technology has been instrumental in helping out a very creepy looking dog named Chamaru. It's very important that we have a ninja dog in this episode as it belongs to this brand new character, Akita Inazuka, who just so happens to be a part of Kiba's clan. We've never seen her before, but apparently she is a master researcher and basically one of the important people to Katasuke's research in terms of developing it and testing it. And she's a real fun character. Again, just kind of like a fun, mad scientist type of character who's completely obsessed with all the things that Katasuke has created. And it just so happens that they brought in the character of Sumire back, who's directly working with everyone at the Ryutan lab, and that's great. I'm glad that the series didn't forget about Sumire because she's a really interesting character, and initially she was sort of like an anime-only original character, but they managed to incorporate her into the manga as well, so everything's sort of come full circle to this moment, and we get to see that not only is she here just to, learn a little bit more about the technology of the ninja world, but she's also trying to create some sort of technology which is going to allow her to properly control the Niue, which is going to be important to helping Konoha Village with all of its Niue-related problems. But in any case, it's good to see her return. Her chemistry with Boruto always manages to be really fun. You can definitely tell she still has some sort of weird feelings for him, and I don't know how they're going to get into that. Personally, I've always felt that the romance of the Naruto universe has always been kind of sloppy in some senses, and maybe even it's not there. Maybe they're just really good friends with one another. But again, all of their scenes together are really charming. But the bulk of this episode follows Boruto and his friends as they're trying out all of this ninja technology, which has been created by Akita and her team, and some of it is actually kind of cool, whether it's these bombs that release all of these sound and sort of like blinding lights which can mess with your opponents, or even just these weird goofy looking mittens and boots which allow people to climb on walls like freaking Spider-Man. Now, of course, you would think that in a ninja world this is completely pointless. Just use your chakra and walk on the walls, but that's the whole point of this technology, is that actually allows the user to conserve chakra and thus be less tired. And then, of course, we have the freaking ninja kite. This is a funny scene because every single time I've seen like anime or video games that involve ninja, they always have this old trope where they have ninjas who are riding around on these square kites. It's some sort of Japanese thing that I'm just not aware of, but just the fact that we could potentially see more of that in the Naruto world I think is actually kind of interesting, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more of it, as it's such a ninja stereotype. And watching Boruto fly around on this thing like a big dopey idiot before crashing into the ground is honestly pretty satisfying, I have to admit. It's great. One of the standout scenes, of course, though, is when Katasuke presents Boruto with this really cool weapon, which is essentially just a friggin' chakra lightsaber. It even kind of sounds like one. The problem is it drains a lot of energy from the user, but if you use it really quickly, it could be one hell of an awesome sneak attack type of weapon. I really love the look of it. I loved it in the manga. It's hard not to make a Star Wars joke when you see something like that, as when you see any sort of potential laser or fire looking sword, the first thing you tend to think of is a lightsaber. So yeah, this episode goes full on freaking Star Wars, Power of the Jedi. It's all there in this episode. I think one of the strongest elements, though, was the introduction of the character of Chamaru, which again is just more reinforcement of the scene with Ao, seeing how people who've been affected, or animals that have been, like, affected physically, like, in their life. Like, basically they go through this whole backstory with Akita, where her dog lost its leg, and she met Professor Katosuke, who decided to make a mechanical limb for it, and this is what sort of drove her to become a scientist and work with him directly. And you can see that it's definitely made Chamaru's life a lot better, although I don't know what it is with this thing's giant, sharp, monstrous-like teeth, but this is a terrifying-looking dog. Aside from that, there's a few other scenes in this episode with all of the different members of Kara, with Delta and Code learning about the death of Victor, which doesn't really seem to affect them all that much. Code being the one who really wanted to take him out, and then we also have the return of Boro, who is basically the biggest, loudest, boisterous member of the group, and this guy's gonna be fun. Just wait. I cannot wait to see more of his character, but he seems incredibly confident to his abilities, thinking that nothing in the world could potentially kill him. You'll just have to wait and see what he's actually going to do in the future, but yeah, he's going to be a very fun character. But essentially, they're trying to pinpoint who is the traitor amongst the group, and the episode is certainly trying to make it seem like Code is that character. And maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't remember a lot of this from the manga. It's almost as if they're expanding on some of those elements just a little bit more. The fact of the matter is, Code is an interesting character, and I can't quite pinpoint him in terms of his personality or what he's going to do. You know, after the Toby stuff from the original Naruto series, learning how goofy he was and he ended up turning into one of the most instrumental antagonists of the entire series, I'm never going to judge a book by its cover anymore. You could be the funniest ass clown in the entire series, and you could somehow turn into one of the biggest villainous characters in the entire series. So I'm just interested to see how all of that is eventually going to turn out. But essentially, that's most of the episode right there. We do get the one final development where we get to see that Boruto and his team get a call from Naruto, who essentially sends them on a mission to help out Konohamaru and Mugino, as they're apparently, conveniently, the closest people to the blimp which actually went down. And supposedly some reinforcements are coming, but you know that means some intense conflict is actually about to happen. And trust me when I say you want to stay tuned for this. There's going to be some pretty cool stuff coming down the pipeline, and hopefully it means we'll get to see more Chakra lightsabers. So what's the rundown on the latest episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations? I really liked this episode. For a chapter that I didn't care for in the manga, this one certainly made it a lot more entertaining. And a lot of that is mostly owed, of course, to the animation, the voice acting, the color, the things that make anime appealing in general. It's the type of chapter that when I read it in the manga, I was like, yeah, okay, let's go ahead. Let's move on to the villain and get to a really cool fight. Here, I was actually really enjoying my time watching these characters test out all of these crazy things. And again, it does kind of piss me off that Boruto is just so, like, stubborn when it comes to the ninja technology. Like, we already know his past with it and how it kind of screwed him over in the tuning exams, but after the freaking episode that we had just an episode ago with him with Ao, learning the importance of this technology, and it seemed like he was fully on board for it, he's still sort of kicking back against all of this stuff at this point. It's really Sarada and Mitsuki who bring him on board, that and the fact that when he sees the puppy with the freaking ninja leg, and of course the cool lightsaber, that he finally starts to come around a little bit. And of course that's because he's a young dumb idiot, and he thinks the Chakra lightsaber is basically just cool. And it is cool. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's awesome to see a character with a lightsaber in the Naruto-verse. It's, you know, not the most inventive thing in the world, but hey, it's something that's new and something that's interesting for the show. And again, continuing to build upon the fact that technology in the Naruto world has come so far. I mean, really go back and watch Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I mean, a lot of the technology in the past was like these old school computers and like crappy TV. That was about it. But in just the last 15 years of the series, things have developed and transformed into this entirely new realm of what is possible in what is effectively a fantasy ninja world. And I love seeing the development of that, and that's completely key and tied directly to everything that's going on with Kara as well. And at the same time, it manages to give the series a completely different flavor and feel when compared to the original Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. In a sense, it makes it distinctive, and it makes it memorable, which is what I really love about everything that they're managing to do with this arc right here. What I can say is that this was a fun kind of episode, which doesn't waste too much time with the viewer and building up to the next major conflict. This is an episode they could have easily taken their time with and turned it into a 2-episode thing, really slowing down and destroying the pacing here. But this was a very well-paced episode with a number of really great scenes, and some of them managed to be funny, some of them manage to be cool, some of them manage to be terrifying like Chamaru. I don't know why that dog freaks me out so much, but he just plain does. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen next. Otherwise, what I'm really trying to say is I liked this episode of Boruto quite a bit, even with its faults, which to me, honestly, there really weren't any. I mean, you could chalk it up to the fact that sometimes the artwork, the animation was not perfect, but I really enjoyed this episode. And again, I think that's a big accomplishment, as I said, when I read it in the manga, I was just kind of ready to skin through it and get done with it. But I'm really enjoying this right here, and I love the build-up here, and I'm just so excited to see what's going to happen next, especially that Chakra Lightsaber, man. I love Chakra Lightsaber. So, this episode for me gets a 5 out of 5. Yes, I think that might be giving it a way too high of a score, but I just have no complaints with this one. I just thought it was pure entertainment value from beginning to end. And again, I just want to continue to praise the series for continuing to use a distinctive brand new score for the Kara arc. Every single time that theme kicks in, it just has so much character and unique qualities that just enhance every single time that they are on screen. I just love it. Even just the smaller scenes with Delta and Code bitching with one another. I don't know what it is, but I just love this brand new group of villains, and I just can't wait to see more of them, how they're going to expand on them in the anime version, and of course all of the inevitable kick-ass shinobi battles that they're going to have with Boruto and all of his pals. So there it is. That's my thoughts on Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. I'd love to get your thoughts on the episode, however, and you can sound off in the comments section below, telling me what you thought about the latest episode of the series. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you have any favorite moments from this episode? Do you want to see more Chakra lightsabers? Do you want to see a Star Wars Naruto crossover that will probably never happen? I'm just joking. Let's talk about this episode and the future. Comments section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. If you did like this video, maybe hit that like button. It's super easy to do, helps out these videos, and it basically ensures that more people can see my content when I release it. And I cannot ask enough for you guys to do that. It's so simple to do. I also want to take this time to thank all of my patrons who make donations through my Patreon page. You guys are fucking awesome. I can't thank you enough for that. Remember, first-time donators, I'll review an anime series of your choice, as well as adding your name to this list of credits. You guys are the producers of Ace Guru. You guys make this channel better every single day. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time. And as always, stay down there, baby.